Welcome to this week in the world of wrestling.
Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our NXT review. Great episode tonight of NXT, guys. I liked it. It's kind of the quote-unquote go-home show before TakeOver Unstoppable next week. I felt like it had nice build to all of its matches, a great ending segment, a very fun tag team match, just really everything you could possibly want from an episode of NXT. I enjoyed it. What about you, Ashton? What did you think of it?
Oh, yeah, this was a really solid go-home show, and it is exactly that. It's a go-home show, because in 1 week from tonight, we have NXT Takeover Unstoppable.
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like it achieved everything that it really should set out to achieve, given the circumstances. And with that said, let's get right into it with our first segment, Heat of the Night. I have no heats of the night tonight, no nitpicks. Everything's good on my end. What about you, brother?
Same here, brother.
All right, then. Well, with that said, let's roll right on through to our NXT review. And we open up with a cold open. We have Solomon Crowe versus Baron Corbin. Very interesting matchup, but here's the thing. No less dominant than a lot of Corbin's other bouts. Crowe got some offense in, but Corbin really ragdolled Crowe here. And the ending came where I think Crowe attempted some offense, tried to mount some kind of a comeback, and Corbin caught him in midair, with the end of days. And that's how he got the win. So Corbin looking just mightier than ever, and he really seemed to be kind of healing it up in this match. Like, there were times he was just throwing Crowe to the ground, forcefully Irish whipping him into the corner. There was one point he was stepping on his head and just kind of posing. So Corbin is fully aware of his dominance, and he is not afraid to flaunt it.
Yeah, he was relatively dominant in this match, but I will say Solomon Crowe got more offense than basically anyone not named Adrian Neville or Bull Dempsey.
Yeah, definitely.
Against Baron Corbin, yeah, it was still a really impressive showing from Solomon Crowe, who, by all means, is basically a rookie on NXT, whereas that would be, Corbin would be a rookie last year, Solomon Crowe's a rookie this year.
Right, exactly. So, you really see the change in the guard, if you will. So as Corbin, the post-match, Rhyno comes out, and, he says, "So you're the other unstoppable force that I keep hearing about. So we gonna do this or what?" And then Corbin just kind of looks at him and he says, "Yeah." And then a fight breaks out between the two. The locker room empties out to separate the two guys. Corbin actually breaks, the human mass that's trying to keep him at bay, and he gets a few more shots in on Rhyno before he exits the ring. And then Rhyno breaks free of everybody trying to restrain him, and he just gores everybody in sight. A huge gore chant breaks out. So it seems like heading into Unstoppable, at least from where I sit, Rhino's kind of looking like the babyface, and Corbin's kind of looking like the heel, if his demonstration against Crowe was any indication. So, interesting
stuff. Which does
stuff.
kind of make sense, given that the crowd, pretty much regardless, would have gotten behind Rhyno in that match.
Yeah, Rhyno is the veteran, a very beloved veteran, given his history. So I feel like this is definitely smart booking to go this route instead of trying to establish Corbin as this babyface. Plus, if you ever heard Corbin talk, he definitely gives a very heelish vibe with his motives and his intentions, what he derives pleasure from. So, yeah, I like this. This should be a very solid match at Unstoppable.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, well, up next, we had 2 consecutive sort of sit-down, single-question interviews, one with Finn Balor, one with Tyler Breeze, and the same question gets asked to both of them. If you win in the 3-way for the number 1 contendership, who would you rather face for the title, Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens? And they both gave literally the exact same answer in their own special little ways, that being, first of all, I'm going to win. Second of all, it doesn't matter because I'm going to beat either one of them.
Yeah, I feel like you gave the perfect summation of these two segments. Like, it really was just these guys expressing their confidence going into this matchup in ways that, of course, are, unique to their characters. Tyler Breeze just, acting almost incredulous by the question because he's going to bring the championship back to Cuteville, and he's just the most gorgeous NXT superstar of all time. And Finn Balor, of course, is exercising more humility, but he says, with Kevin Owens, I have my history, and I'm disappointed I didn't beat him last time with Sami Zayn. I regard him as one of the best in the world. So, both guys, very different dispositions, but pretty much the same answer.
Right. So up next, we had our second match of the night, that being Sasha Banks versus the crowd referred to her as Black Shorts. So I'm going to just stick with that.
Yeah, Sasha Banks cuts a pre-match promo saying, just because Becky Lynch got the better of me last week, it doesn't mean that she's just better than me in general. Yeah, at Unstoppable, I'm going to show everybody why I'm the boss of NXT. And then she proceeds to, more or less dominate Black Shorts. Black Shorts maybe gets like a hiccup or two of offense early on with, a backslide attempt and an inside cradle, of course, both of which are unsuccessful. And then from there, Sasha Banks just exerts her dominance. She gets the double knees to the gut in the corner that I love. And then after that, she gets the backbreaker into the Banks statement, which gets the submission win. So, I thought it was nice. I would have liked, maybe a little bit more interaction between her and Becky Lynch before the final stretch of, Two Unstoppable here. But, just Sasha carrying on her own was totally fine. And she's amazing, and I cannot wait for her matchup against Becky next week in Unstoppable.
Yeah, I'm curious as to who Black Shorts was. Like, I feel like she looked familiar. I feel like I've seen her on NXT before. If not, I feel like I've seen her on an indie show before. But I can't put a name to the face.
Yeah, we'll have to look up, especially if we see her again, we'll have to look up what her name was. This could be like another Blue Pants kind of situation down the road. Who knows? But, she was fine, served her purpose of making Sasha look dominant before the big title defense. And, yeah, I'm just very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so up next, we had a backstage promo, or I guess an interview if you want to go there. Bayley and Charlotte cutting promo on Emma and Dana Brooke, respectively, and they basically just kind of call them out and tell them that they're going to be at NXT TakeOver Unstoppable, and they hope that they are there as well.
Yeah, so you can kind of tell that a tag team match is in the making here between these four women, respectively. So solid work here from the babyfaces. Nothing really too much to say about that. These two as a team, I think it'll go well, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, we're flying through this. Third match of the night, Carmella versus Alexa Bliss. I actually thought that the story told in this segment was really well done. Carmella and Alexa Bliss are pretty much, I guess you could say, even Steven, but Blake and Murphy come out, and right as Carmella is about to lock in her finisher submission hold, Blake and Murphy get up on the apron and start being like, hey, what are you doing? You don't know what you're doing. What are you doing? You shouldn't be doing that. Literally for no reason other than to distract Carmella. So that works, and she is distracted. And then Alexa Bliss clocks her in the back of the head and does the Sparkle Splash for the win.
Yeah, Alexa Bliss getting the W here. She blows a kiss to Blake and Murphy as she exits.
Which could be a possible hint at a heel turn.
I'm just glad they pegged this up again after their little altercation 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
It's nice to see that, he didn't drop the ball on this.
Continuity.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
It's wonderful. You just said that. I just repeated your word. How does that feel?
That feels pretty damn good. Not as good, though, as Carmella's post-match, promo towards Blake and Murphy, because Blurfy, as Ashton affectionately called them, I believe that trend started last week on NXT TWitWoW.
Oh, I've been calling them that for a lot longer than that. But yeah, they tell Carmella that when you hang with two pieces of trash, like Enzo and Big Cass, you start to smell like garbage. And Carmella promptly responded by just burning Blurfy to the point that they really desperately needed an ice bath.
When Rich Brennan, of all people, says that I think the champs got served, you really need to start considering a career change. But
I love that Enzo Amore, as a single entity, has literally made the careers of himself and two other people.
I know, right? But yeah, it was good stuff here, and it leads to a very unique situation because, as you and I were saying when we were watching this, Carmella seems to be babyface now, while Alexa Bliss may be going heel. And I said I think from her debut that I feel like Alexa Bliss should be heel.
Yep.
So I was very pleased by this development. I mean, a woman who goes for, pinning attempts as often as she does in every single match really should be heel. So I'm happy about this. I think Alexa Bliss will thrive in this role. Carmella as a babyface, I think, will work solely because of the association with Enzo and Cass.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. Yep.
Yeah, we're going to be fine.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Up next, we had the same sort of sit-down, one-question interview format as we had with Balor and Breeze, this time with Hideo Itami. Asked the same exact question, but he actually gives a unique answer. He doesn't stop to specify, first of all, it's not if, it's when I win. He didn't do that. He actually just straight up said, I hope I win. And when, or I don't know if he said if or when, but if I do win, I hope that it's Kevin Owens because he doesn't respect anything and I don't respect him. And he called him a bad person. And at first it sounded like he said butt person and I almost giggled because I'm immature.
Well, dude, I have to agree with you on all counts. I really enjoyed what Hideo...
Oh, you giggled at the butt person thing too?
Yeah, sure.
It's like, sure, yeah, now shut up.
but yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this from Hideo. Actually, it was my favorite one of the three. And
yeah.
it
Absolutely. I think it was almost designed to be the best one of the three, to be honest.
And it makes it all the more heartbreaking that Hideo is injured and is projected to be out, at least from what I read, for 7 to 8 months.
I hope that was a really crappy false report.
Yeah, I hope that was hyperbole, and it's no more than I mean, the most I can take without Hideo. I don't want to go 1 week without the guy, but 3 months at least. I'm hoping he's back as soon as possible. I'll put it that way.
I'm hoping he's back, within the next 6 days so that he can have his match.
Yeah, I mean...
And this promo made it feel like he was actually going to win it, too.
I know, right?
Like the fact that his promo made him stand out as much as it did compared to the other two guys.
Definitely, and the fact that he called out pretty much Kevin Owens.
Yep.
Not to mention the fact, I mean, I don't want to trample over our fantasy garden of Breeze Owens here, but Breeze has gotten a lot of momentum lately, and to me it's kind of a rule of thumb that when a heel gets that much momentum, more often than not they don't get the win at the pay-per-view, or in this case, the live special. So it's going to be a but here's the thing. If Hideo can't make it, it's going to be Balor versus Breeze one-on-one. And then I feel like Breeze is back in the driver's seat if that's the case. So it's a very unique predicament we find ourselves in this match. But yeah, Hideo did a fine job here.
Absolutely. Up next, let's see. We had, Dana Brooke and Emma. And yeah, it's no wonder that I forgot what we had next. Yeah. Dana Brooke and Emma accept Bayley and Charlotte's challenge.
Well, let's just move on.
Sounds good to me, brother. Adam Rose and Tyler Breeze versus Hideo Itami and Finn Balor, a.k.a. ESPN E60 team versus Legends in Japan.
I appreciate that you made that reference. By the way, I want to say here, because it seems like the most appropriate place to say it, if anybody hasn't seen that E60 special on, NXT,
you're missing
please
out.
Go watch it. Yeah. Like Ashton said that me and him were going to watch it because you watched it like the first time when it was actually airing live. I said I was going to wait for it to be uploaded. And, man, I'm glad I did because then I was really able to really appreciate it, take it all in. It is so good, guys. So check it out when you can, really.
Yeah, it's really good.
But getting back on point with this tag match, I liked it. I mean, obviously you're dealing with 4 exceptional workers, so in-ring it's going to deliver. But I also appreciated the story of tension between Balor and Itami, stealing tags from each other and all that stuff, which definitely played out towards the end and affected the finish because, you had Itami get a drop kick to Breeze in the corner and he looked like he was setting up for the shotgun kick, but then Balor stole the tag and then he does the sling blade to Adam Rose and then he does his corner drop kick to Breeze, so then he looks like he's going to go for the coup de grace, but then Itami runs all along the apron, he tags in Balor, and before he can do anything, because they're kind of looking at each other, but that allows Breeze to recover enough where he cradles Itami, and Breeze and Rose get the win. I should have seen it coming. I really should have, but I thought that there were... Yeah?
Do you really think you should have seen it coming? Like, you think it was obvious? Because I don't.
I feel like it was somewhat obvious because, I don't know. I just feel like, Balor and Itami were going to go over because Breeze had the momentum last week, and I thought this was going to be kind of their way of evening things out. Plus, Rose was on Breeze's team, and no offense to him, I love the guy to death, but, his status has really fallen from when the gimmick first debuted. But yeah, Breeze gets the win again. Not only does he get the win again, he stands tall again because Balor and Itami are kind of going at it again, verbally. Breeze shoves Itami into Balor, super kicks one, super kicks the other, takes them out, and then Rose, was ill-advised, but he starts celebrating with Breeze, raising his arm and stuff, and Breeze does not like to be touched, so as soon as Adam Rose turns around, he eats a super kick, which actually got a nice pop from the NXT crowd.
Yeah.
And Breeze is on a roll, man. That triple threat match is going to be tough to call when we do preview predictions for Unstoppable next week. So
you think so?
Yeah, I do, because I'm really vacillating between, is it going to be Breeze, and then, again, Itami, I feel like should be out of the question because of his injury, but I really don't even know the full extent of that. Nobody does. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. All right. You know what, though? This match, really, really good, but now we get to the real talking point of the night. First of all, we had a little bit of a recap. They reshowed, and because they opened the show with the recap of Sami Zayn's answering of John Cena's open challenge. And then we had another little bit of a recap of it towards the end of the night here. And then we went backstage, and Sami Zayn actually did a little bit of an interview that was apparently filmed right after the match. And he explained that when he was first kind of trying to get the crowd into it, and he was into it, and he was raising his arms and stuff, he felt like his shoulder tweaked a little bit, and then 30 seconds into the match, Cena gave him just a regular side suplex or a back suplex, and he felt it. He said he didn't know if it popped or if it popped out and then back in or what, but he knew that there was something off, and he explained basically that even though it's painful and he's going to be in pain next Wednesday, that it's going to take more than just physical toughness. It's also going to take mental toughness, because if he goes into it thinking, oh, I'm really injured, then he's already lost. So he's going to have to display some incredible mental toughness against Kevin Owens.
Yeah, a great, babyface explanation by Sami Zayn. I really liked it. I liked his whole mentality going into Unstoppable, facing an injury. So this is good stuff. Nothing really more to say than that.
All right. And finally, we close the night out with the confrontation. First of all, before we talk about the confrontation itself, as bad as the editing was, because it sounded different than the actual promo, I do appreciate that they actually edited in while the camera was on Kevin Owens' face. They edited in Sami saying, look, I know I hurt my shoulder against John Cena, but that's not going to stop me. This match is still on.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not backing down from Kevin Owens. It really shows the resilience and just, the toughness of Sami Zayn in the face of his opposition. So I really like that. And then as far as the actual confrontation goes, Ashton, what did you think of it, man? We'll let you start this discussion out.
I think that Sami Zayn absolutely stole the show here. He was amazing. He just ripped into Kevin Owens. He went after Kevin Owens. And I think that this is kind of the point, because Owens keeps on talking about how, I'm doing it for my family. Zayn goes after Owens' family, but not in a way that would be offensive, in a way that kind of makes sense, and it would sort of tweak Owens' button a little bit, or at least the right one that that gets under his skin, because he says about how, is it about your son? Is it because your son would rather wear a Sami Zayn t-shirt than a KO t-shirt? Is it because he kind of goes into that whole thing, and the look on Kevin Owens, I couldn't tell if he was going to break down and cry or slit Sami's throat.
And I love that. I love the body language of Kevin Owens, and I was kind of holding my breath waiting for the result, but I'll get more into that in a second. But I kind of described what Sami Zayn did here to you, and I'm going to use the expression again. He hit all of Kevin Owens' pain points.
Yep.
And I really like that because, the first time around it was Kevin Owens playing the mental game and just kind of having this edge over Sami. But Sami is showing the pushback, and I like that. It's moments like this, and we've said it multiple times throughout the course of doing NXT TWitWoW, particularly, when Sami Zayn joined the roster, that he's not your prototypical babyface. He is.
Except
different.
that he is.
Well, he is, but he isn't, in the sense that,
right.
He does get frustrated, he does get angry, he does push back, he doesn't shrug things off, and when he pushes back, here's the thing, he doesn't do it at the expense of necessarily belittling his opponents in terms of their credibility or things like that.
Right.
He's more sophisticated than that, if you will. In the case of Kevin Owens, he's not taking anything away from Kevin Owens. He knows what happened the first time. He knows he's the NXT champion. But he hits his the veil that he hides behind. Oh, like you said, oh, my family, and he attacks that. So I just love how Sami Zayn approaches being a babyface. But you were showering the adulation on Sami. I felt like Kevin Owens handled his part perfectly.
Definitely.
Because when I said that I was holding my breath waiting for the outcome, I'll be honest, I wouldn't have gone as far as to say heat of the night, because that's definitely being hyperbolic, but I would have been annoyed if Kevin Owens just snapped, started beating down Sami Zayn, and then maybe ended it with a pop-up powerbomb, because Sami even said, like, this isn't about physicality, this and that, that's coming next week. You know, this is about something else. And Kevin Owens, instead, realizing he doesn't want to cheapen the value of their rematch, turns his back to Sami. First of all, acts like he's going to say something, so he's kind of pulling a Batista there. And then, turns his back, walks out, and then he stops and he says, Sami, everything you just said is irrelevant. Because the fact is, I know that you're hurt. I know where you're hurt. I know how I hurt you, and going through all that stuff. And then he punctuates it by saying, and next week, at Unstoppable, I'm going to do it again, only this time you're not coming back.
Yep.
And then he walks off. And it's funny because there was like a minute left to go, on my video, because we were watching on the network, and I thought, is Sami going to have some kind of retort, fire the crowd up? No, they just let the moment stew.
Yes.
And I thought that was perfect.
Yep.
This was handled so well by both guys. Yeah, great stuff.
This main event is the kind of thing that the WWE needs to repeat every single year if they can.
Well, this is the kind of build when you consider the history of these two guys and like what they've done. Like, this is the kind of a main event feud I'd want to see at like a WrestleMania kind of stage.
And that's the thing too. This exact feud gave ROH 3 years worth of content.
Exactly. I'm telling you, I feel like this is, in a very different context, mind you, but I think I even made this comparison before. This has that kind of Shawn Michaels, Triple H kind of air to it to me. They're going to get a lot of mileage out of this, I think, on the main roster, and that's just my personal feeling about it.
I think that's even selling it short, to be honest.
Wow.
I think this goes to, like, HBK, Bret Hart kind of stuff.
Yeah, man, just really an intensity that's palpable. And I just can't wait to see what they do with it in the future. And, in the immediate future being next week, I think these guys, even with Sami Zayn's injury, are going to – and honestly, the injury, simply because of the workers involved, may even be an asset in its own weird way, because I feel like they could tell a really interesting story with it maybe. So,
well, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm confident in these guys. It's going to be one hell of a match.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, I mean, I can't think of anything else to say.
Right, so let's move on.
I feel like we've absolutely breezed through this. Is this going to be the first ever under 30-minute NXT TWitWoW?
I think we're close, depending on how we get through the rest of these. So our next segment, high spots and low shots. I'll keep my low shot brief. Solomon Crowe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Started out hot, but he hit a brick wall known as Baron Corbin, man. Got ragdolled tonight. I mean, yeah, he put up a fight, but damn. So, yeah, Solomon Crowe's my low shot. What about you, brother?
It pains me to do this, but I did it on Monday for Raw, so I'm going to do it again here, and I'm going to drag real life into my low shot. Hideo Itami, because first of all, I can use the kayfabe excuse of he lost tonight, but and actually he actually got pinned tonight, not just lost, but he got pinned. But now the word is that he's injured and he's going to be out for a few months, so he's not even going to get his match at the pay-per-view.
My heart just breaks for him. I even did like a post.
Because that's the crazy thing, too, is that I thought after tonight, I really do feel like he was slated to win.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. It's a shame because I even started a post on Tweetov when I heard the news of him being injured, and I just said how heartbroken I was because I'm not the biggest Hideo Itami mark. That's not really what this is about.
I found myself becoming one.
Yeah, and that's awesome, man, first of all.
Well, it would be if he wasn't injured.
yeah, really. But for me, it was just he's like one of the hardest working guys, I think, in the WWE, because you figure like he is that foreigner, coming from Japan to America, and he's, perfecting his English and working on his in-ring work, adapting the American style, and he puts all this work in, and I feel like he was so close to that breakthrough. I mean, hell, was in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at this past WrestleMania, so you knew, like, I still think he has, like, a huge upside, and they got big things for him. But injuries suck when it happens to guys like Itami. It's like it's been kind of a depressing streak lately because you figure Bryan and Itami, like all these guys that have so much stock and so much to give, aren't able to give it because of, the nature of their profession. And then this is what happens. All I can hope is that Hideo aggressively rehabs and he gets back sooner than the projected timetables that I've been seeing, because 7 to 8 months of no Hideo Itami, that's a death sentence.
You know what? Here's my thing is, I wouldn't call it a death sentence, first of all. Second of all, it sucks, but I don't think, I was actually getting ready to say the exact opposite. I don't think it's a huge deal. I mean, it's horrible because you never want to see a guy out of work. But after this month, I don't think that it'll be exceptionally difficult to forget about him until he comes back. And when he does come back, it'll mean that much more.
Oh, when he comes back, it'll be huge. Like, I think when I said death blow, it's not really so much in the fanfare. The fans are always going to be there. I just feel like he was riding such a wave of momentum.
Well, it's not a death blow to his career either.
I just feel like he had so much momentum, and he may have to do some clawing back. I don't know.
I mean,
it all depends on how
you
they
never
use
know.
when he
Maybe
comes back.
he won't even come back to NXT. Maybe he'll rehab, and when he gets healthy, he'll just debut on the main roster immediately.
Maybe. I mean, that's a possibility I hadn't even considered. But, I mean, only time will tell. But, yeah, I do agree with your low shot. So let's move on now to the high spot. And I got to say, my high spot is Tyler Breeze.
Yeah, he definitely. I mean, he had the same kind of moment tonight that Dean Ambrose has had to close each of the last 2 Raws. He stood tall.
Yeah, for the second week in a row. I mean, that's ridiculous momentum, because not only did he get the winning pin in his match off of Hideo, who he's had, this rivalry with, he laid everybody out, including his own tag team partner. So talk about standing strong and standing tall. Tyler Breeze got all the momentum in the world right now. So who's your high spot?
Man, this is, I kind of want to give it to Alexa Bliss, but she didn't really have that important of a win. So you know what? I'm just going to say, because he had probably the most credible win of the night, save for obviously Breeze and Rose. I'm gonna say Baron Corbin is my high spot.
That's perfect, because Solomon Crowe is my low shot, so it makes perfect sense to me. Baron Corbin, again, he ragdolled his opposition tonight, and he's looking like he can do the same to Rhyno at Unstoppable. We'll see what happens. With that said, do you have any closing remarks?
No, I don't. This is a really, really short episode of NXT TWitWoW. I feel like we have to fill time, but no, let's take us home, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, with that said, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. Be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube, guys. What was your favorite moment of NXT this week? What do you think is going to happen with the triple threat number 1 contenders match, at NXT TakeOver Unstoppable? Be sure to take the conversation over to Pweetov, an amazing pro wrestling group on Facebook, some of the most passionate wrestling fans you'll ever meet. If you'd prefer to keep the conversation to me and my cohort and commentary here, Ashton has made a TWitWoW subreddit for that purpose. And we will see you again for Payback preview and predictions coming this Saturday.
Actually, no, we will see them before that, because we're doing live reactions to ROH New Japan's Global Wars on Friday.
Yeah, I was getting ready. I caught myself, and I wouldn't have remembered the name of the show, though, so thank you. So, yes, Global Wars live reactions coming Friday, Payback preview prediction Saturday, and, of course, Payback live reaction Sunday. It's going to be some amazing content coming your way for the remainder of the week. Until then, guys, tune in and peace out.